before about how crucial the sacral chakra is in creating. So of course it makes sense to talk about it as we are consciously creating our reality with these 11 days of exercises. One of the things that I think is something that people overlook a lot is the energy in their sacral chakra and how it flows. The sacral chakra is the area where we give and receive, and it's also our creativity and our sexuality. So a lot of people, if you've been abused in the past or have had trauma in relationships or sexually in any way, or just in your ability to receive, if you grew up really poor or you were raised with a mentality that you don't deserve things or not to expect things, it can really damage the energy of your sacral chakra. It can put blocks in you to actually receiving and giving as well, because it's basically a lack mentality. And then of course if you've had any sort of sexual trauma or sexual abuse, that affects it as well. Ironically, really, it can affect your ability to manifest, your ability to create things, because that energy comes from the same place. So it doesn't always just affect you in sexual ways. It can affect you in all sorts of ways if you've been sexually abused. So obviously this class is not necessarily about healing, but I will post a link to videos that I've done on checking in with your chakras and seeing what the energy is like in there and what your belief systems are and clearing them out. I think it's just super important to be able to do this exercise that I'm going to give you, which is once you've cleared and activated your sacral chakra and you're aware of how your energy moves, aware of maybe beliefs that you have that have held you back with creating and manifesting. So once you get that all cleared out, so the thing to pay attention to with the sacral chakra is that when you're creating something, like pre-manifested things, like you create with your thoughts and your emotions. And so one of the first things to do, or you can do, it helps with me, is to sit and visualize, or just sit in meditation, visualize and feel what the essence is of the thing that you're trying to create. So let's say you're trying to manifest a trip somewhere. So I would sit down and not think specifically about the trip itself, unless that feels really, really good to do. But a lot of times when we're too specific, it actually causes us to doubt more, because then we think, oh well, that won't work, or that's not gonna happen, or our minds try to figure out the how of it. So putting that all aside, try to get in touch with what it would feel like, what that thing that you want to manifest would feel like. So in this case, if you're trying to manifest a trip, what would the trip feel like? What are the emotions you would feel on the trip? How would it be? How would it feel? How would you experience it? Really conjure up the emotion itself and feel it in the sacral chakra. Like just allow the tension to build and build. So you're actually allowing yourself to receive it right then and there. Because if you can manifest the emotional state, you've manifested those vibrations. And then from there, you're just fueling those vibrations. I've talked about this in previous videos. So really, you want to bring in the essence of it as much as possible, because again, once you've manifested the essence, you've kind of manifested that. You've manifested the vibrations, the scaffolding for those things to come into physical manifestation. So think of it as you already did it. If you can conjure up those feelings, if you can bring those feelings into you, you've manifested those vibrations, you've created those vibrations within you. Literally see them going on in your sacral chakra, and visualize yourself opening your sacral chakra and allowing those vibrations to pour in more and more and more and more. So that's you receiving your manifestation. You're receiving, again, the scaffolding. You're receiving the vibrations. And then from there, fuel it. So, and again, I've talked about this before, but in terms of the sacral chakra, once you've really allowed yourself to open up and receive the vibrations of the essences that you want to create in the manifestation that you want to have eventually come physically, then let it go as if it's already happened, it's already been done. And then leave your sacral chakra open, and as I've talked about this before too, make love to your whole environment, everything in your experience. Try to invoke more of that essence that you created through whatever vibrations you just allowed in. Bring in more of those vibrations and receive, 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 receive. Receive the moment, as I've said before. And you're giving when you're receiving, because in this case you're making love to it. So just like when you do make love to someone, it's a giving, receiving thing. You're giving and receiving almost simultaneously. And that's how it feels when you're really activating the sacral chakra. It feels like you're giving and receiving simultaneously. So like I've said before, in this moment, every vibration that exist is available. So your job is just to be the alchemist with the vibrations. What do you want more of? What do you want to bring in less of? Because you're a combination of vibrations, and everything that you want to create and everything that you do create is a combination of vibrations. So just pay attention. Your job is just to pay attention where your vibrational point of attractions are, and then fuel what you want to feel more of and lessen what you want to make less of. But as you have your sacral chakra open, really make love to your environment. Like today is a perfect example for me. I knew I needed to open my sacral chakra because, like I've said in the past, a lot of the work that I do is creative, and if I'm not in a creative spot, I just can't work, and I have deadlines, and so it's a problem. So today I knew that I sat down on my computer and stared at it for a while, and knowing, okay, I have no creative juices flowing right now, so I've got to get up, I've got to open my sacral chakra, and I've got to make love to the room around me. And that's the most exciting thing for me to do because I love it. And so in the food that I make, in the coffee that I brew, in the music that I listen to, in the way that I create the energy in the house, all of it, I create it intentionally, very, very, very seductively, and I just enjoy it. Like I allow it all to really come in. And even just the way that I put food on a plate is like I make it really beautiful and really sensuous, and I take my time with it, and I'll maybe pour a glass of wine or whatever it is, but I want to feel that sensuality, because as I feel the sensuality, it opens my sacral chakra more and my creative flow starts going. And then all of a sudden I have all these inspirations and things that I want to say and write and do and create. And it really, really helps. This helps not only with your creative flow, but it helps with creative manifestation or conscious manifestation, because again, you're opening your sacral chakra, and the universe, your environment wants you to make love to it. It wants you to receive it, the good vibes especially that are there for you. And if you have all these vibrations available to you and you don't receive them, then your brain more and more is trained to believe that those vibrations aren't there. But if you allow yourself to receive them and allow yourself to know that it's not only okay to receive them, but the universe wants you to, that you wouldn't want to give somebody a gift and have them not ever use it. So really it's training yourself to know how to receive the moment and everything that you have in the moment. And again, it's also training you to understand vibration and essence, that the physically manifested thing is an afterthought. It's like the last part of it, but the energy work beforehand, all the prequel stuff, is where it's all really at, and then your job is just to receive in the moment. So love to hear how this goes for you. Ciao.